Hey, it's Corey.
And Kyra, and we're here from Above the Bar,
where every week we have conversations and libations with a legal twist.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, we passed the bar, so here we are with you guys, sharing some current events and talking about it from a legal perspective, but also sharing some of our favorite libations.
So this week, I pulled out one of my favorites, and if you are a lover of parties, then you already know that right around the corner this weekend, people will be partying, stomping, grinding, winding, all sorts of things in preparation for Mardi Gras, Carnival, whatever you call it. It's this weekend as we prepare for the Lenten season starting next Wednesday. So lots of partying are going to be going on this weekend, and I want to give you a drink that's meant for the party. So one of my favorite celebrations of Carnival was down in Rio. And I had good times in Rio, and I learned to love the national drink of Rio, the Caipirinha, which is a beautiful mixture of lime and cachaca, like their rum, a sugarcane based rum. So it's like a so mellow, but it's strong, so it's party, but not all the extras, like
straight to the point. Straight to the point.
It'll get you there. So if you go to our Facebook page, it'll be posted. So you can make it traditionally with just lime, a little bit of sugar, cachaca, muddle it up, throw some ice in it, boom, you're done. Or instead of lime, you can put your favorite fruit. I like it to be tropical. I think that's usually the variation that Rio de Janeiroans would approve of. But so we made it with pineapple.
But some other variations that I think would be delicious are either with the mango, because it's very sweet. So if you like sweeter cocktails, and that would kind of sweeten up the caipirinha, or maybe watermelon when it's in season, or you could do whatever.
I've seen it with kiwi, which is a pretty exotic fruit, and it has its own distinct flavor. But cachaca has a super distinct flavor too. So try it out, see what you like, add more sugar.
So I was gonna say, for those who have never had cachaca, because I had not, Le Blanc is
a brand of cachaca.
Yes. So to see what it looks like, so if you're looking in the store, you kind of know what bottle to look for. It looks like this. And where can they find it?
It'll be in the rum aisle, because rum is typically with molasses and cachaca is with sugar cane. So often in Rio, at least, it's served with a little sliver of sugar cane, so you have something like to chew on while you're drinking it, especially if you want a little bit sweeter. So you just drink some, chew on the sugar cane, drink some, stir it and chew. And then the samba starts, and it's like and then the party starts. So anyway, I want you guys to enjoy your last weekend, especially if you're giving something up for the Lenten season, especially if it's alcohol. Come.
Go out with the bang.
Go out with the bang. Have a good time. Have some cachaca. Have a caipirinha. And salute it.
And the good thing about it is some of our cocktails, and some cocktails in general, require a lot of different ingredients.
Yeah.
But this one, the only thing you need is the cachaca.
That's the only alcohol you need.
Right.
And then just whatever
sugar
you want
and whatever
to
fruit you want.
Put in it. And so I thought about a lot of different drinks. And obviously we could take it to New Orleans and do like a hurricane. We could take it to Trinidad and then drink a lot of stuff. But this one was by far the simplest and one of the easiest to get you there. So watch out, it's kind of sneaky. It might sneak up on you. Just like some of the sneaky things that happen that we need to talk about on today's show.
Yes.
Things be sneaking up on people.
Sneaking and kind of, not even so secret. So, which way do you want to go first?
Oh, you know what? I want to talk about people suspecting that you're sneaking, but you're just going about your life, trying to live your life. Like in Old Navy.
Yes. If you have not heard the story, it was a gentleman who walked into an Old Navy store with an Old Navy jacket on that he got for Christmas, and he was purchasing another item. He went to the cash register to purchase the new item, and they asked him, do you want to pay for the coat that you have on as well? And he's like, what? I got this as a gift. He thought they were joking at first, until he realized that no, this cashier is dead serious. So the manager came out, they made him take his jacket off, they're trying to scan it, and they're trying to insist that he pay for it, that he already paid, or someone already paid for it. And he insisted, thankfully, that they go check the cameras to see that he walked into the store with this jacket on. The manager goes to the back, she checks it, and obviously she realizes that she is wrong and does not come back out.
So she never came back out?
She never came back out. She never came back out to apologize. Oh, and she tried to say that was store policy. That is store policy that if you come in there with a with another Old Navy item on, that they are required to make you take it off and check it. Which is utterly ridiculous. So clearly this was, and if I didn't mention, the key factor in this story is that the gentleman was black and the cashiers were white.
I think they were in Cleveland. Or...
I think so too.
So they were someplace where he was not the populist.
Right, exactly.
And he came out and kind of got to the news because he came out and posted a video where said, I've been racially profiled. They're saying I've done X, Y, Z. I did not do those things, and it was a big, long ordeal, which obviously is very embarrassing. It's almost, it's like when your car is declining, you're like, what car? That car work? It's like, no, of course I didn't steal this jacket. And of course, if someone's shopping in Old Navy, the assumption is they
shop
wear
things.
Right,
exactly. This is not their first time shopping there. So they definitely racially profiled him. And Old Navy has since fired them.
Fired 3 employees.
Right. Yes. For racially discriminating against this gentleman. So it's just like, I wonder if they would have taken it further if he would not have insisted that they check the cameras. If they would have tried to arrest him, that would have been false imprisonment because he was.
It was already false imprisonment.
I was thinking
when
so
it's
too.
Beyond a normal period where an investigation could take place, then it's false imprisonment.
Exactly.
And I think there's only been convictions when it's been super extended, but technically, I mean, he has a case he could raise to say they kept me extended. I made this protest. There were no tags on it. Yada yada yada. You would think if you have a bigger coat on, and I can't speak for Old Navy, but a lot of places when they have larger ticket items, they are, tagged differently. Mm-hmm. They have anti-theft monitoring things, so that's my thing. But you have to be very careful about shoplifting because it can't always look like you're targeting certain people. Funny thing about shoplifters is they come in every size and every variety.
They
saw Winona Ryder was a shoplifter.
Exactly.
Just because she was kind of like
for
a
the thrill of it.
Right. So you can't just say, it's because you have this jacket on and that's our policy, because that can't be a company policy because lots of people, if you are in Old Navy shopping, there's a chance that you have Old Navy on because you like Old Navy.
So you're trying to tell me if I walk in there with my pants on, you're going to make me take them off at the cash register? If I have a shirt on, you're going to make me take it off at the cash register?
Well, of course not. I mean, that was what she just probably thought that wasn't going any further. But, let me say this. At any point in management, you learn that sometimes you're just wrong and you have to suck it up and say, there was some confusion. I was confused. Mm-hmm. I apologize. What can we do to make it better? I just saw it the other day. We went to a restaurant in Houston, and one of the cashiers was just kind of rude. The other cashier, as soon as the person left, looked at him and was like, no, wrong. And you can't do that. You can't talk to people that way. They have a choice of where they can spend their money. Exactly. Just like they could go in Old Navy because they're frequently bundled. Old Navy, Marshalls,
Right.
I could walk to any of these stores and buy something.
Right, exactly.
So I don't have to spend my money here. It's not a requirement. You can't make me, and if you don't treat me properly, hey sir, did you buy this shirt? Even if you want to, sneak and do it. Go look back at the cameras. But when you stop someone, or just let them leave and call the police, because that's really, you're making this fuss. You cost yourself thousands of dollars.
A job.
Over a baby jacket.
So
I always, I'm going to say this. Sometimes people, I dig it. Maybe you like your job. Maybe you just say, you're not going to steal from my job. Maybe you take it real personal. But, when you are the owner of said Old Navy, take it very personal. Because that's your profit and loss statement. But when you that hourly employee, including you manager, because I know you still, even you're a salaried employee, you have to make a decision about the best way for you to proceed that's legal.
Exactly.
A, legal, and B, presents your company in a proper light.
So the thing
people get their feelings in it. If you stop somebody, you call your manager calls their manager stays back there for 20 minutes. People in their feelings about it. Like, you're not gonna steal from us.
So the thing that I didn't understand is why, one, he had to insist on them checking the cameras, and two, why wouldn't they go to check the cameras on their own from the very beginning? If you see someone walk in, or if somebody tells you, hey, I don't know if he came in with this jacket or not, but I'm assuming that that wasn't how he relayed the message. He probably relayed the message saying, hey, he has on one of our jackets, and you probably put it on when he was in here. Whereas that shouldn't have been how it was addressed from the beginning. It should have been, hey, I'm not sure, so let's go look at the footage and see when he walked in the store. And this situation would have never happened. But the fact that it did just goes to further support that it was racial profiling, and how they handled him was completely inappropriate. He was held against his will because he couldn't leave the store if he's trying to prove to you he didn't steal a jacket. And then it's just like...
Well, we've seen in other stores where people... I think there was a case actually in Houston where someone actually got shot because they were stealing from Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, but you have to leave that to the authorities. If your job is store management, obviously there are things in theft prevention that you should do, but stopping someone because suspicious actions happen before you leave the store. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
You trying on something, even something as simple as let me see the tag, or
correct.
What is our quantity of this? Are we absent some quantity? So there's ways that you can kind of verify things,
right?
But insisting that something didn't, just okay, you didn't steal it, I'm gonna call the police and let them clear it up. Because you are not the investigator, chief. You don't have the right, so wearing an item is not necessarily
that is not a basis.
Cause,
no.
Right? Because you're in Old Navy, you shop at Old Navy. If every time you went in whatever store you like, if every time you went to Target, they were like, what is that, a bag from Target? What is that?
Did you buy that today, or when did you buy that? Let me scan it. Yeah. And then after they scanned it and saw that it was not coming up in their system, they were still trying to make him repurchase it. So it's like in your mind, you were just insistent on the fact that you believe that this man was stealing this item, regardless of what the facts showed you. Because if you were really interested in the facts, you would have gone to the video from the beginning, and he would not have forced you or insisted over and over again that you go check the video. But their intentions were very clear to me as to what it was.
Well,
so them being fired, that serves them right.
And especially a company like that. I mean, this is not your mom and pop shop. This is Old Navy, but that's the Gap. That's Banana Republic. Obviously, that's a big target on the head. So if they're suing, obviously they're not suing this manager, this employee. They're suing Old Navy, the Gap, Banana Republic, this whole big corporation. And so you have to be very clear on policies that are non-discriminatory, and in just having a process that makes sense. What happens if we suspect someone steals? And the chances are, in a lot of companies' policies, is to just let them go unless you have some clear evidence there.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure the policies are not what they did.
No, I'm sure the policies let them go because it's not worth this $10 jacket.
Right.
Is not worth the problems it will cause if this is incorrect.
Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't like he had a bag of stolen goods and they were catching him with it. I mean, this is a one jacket.
Right. Good point. Very good point.
So often the policy is, let them go, and until they're like a known thief, what do you do? Because, you get into fishy territory.
And I think Old Navy did the right thing in firing them because, as you mentioned, their umbrella company does own various companies, and so that there is no backlash against them and people protesting and not shopping at their stores anymore, because H&M has said that they have had a recent decline in their sales, and they're attributing it to that monkey t-shirt.
Well, I mean, I think part of the problem is a lot of times they're not swift enough. Like, I want to know that you really dislike this too.
Right.
Even if sometimes how do you know? Maybe they're just faking it, but the monkey thing, they were like trying to explain it, and I want yours to be like a swift, repugnant, response.
Right.
Like, ugh, we wouldn't do that. That was
somehow
this isolated incident, as opposed to like, oh, we're sorry, we didn't understand. Okay, but what are you doing to fix it? And if if it's isolated to some employees, are you fixing them? If it is a company culture, are you fixing that? But if you're not fixing anything, I don't have to come here. Guess what, H&M? They got them clothes at Zara.
or Forever 21 or whatever. And so Old Navy, I think, responded swiftly, and they responded, I think, in a good manner in firing these employees, because there's no way that you can try to explain their behavior and pass it off as acceptable. So I think they responded well, and kudos to them for responding promptly. So that's good. Some other people who didn't respond so well.
What?
Let's jump over to Philly.
Oh man,
my Philadelphia Eagle fans.
So
I'm happy for y'all. I am ecstatic for y'all.
Because I was like in my feelings, because it was like, oh man, Tom Brady's gonna win another Super Bowl, and then like I'm still mad actually about last year's Super Bowl. So I was like, Super Bowl. But so the Eagles pulled like a Hail Mary and won, which was, you know, well deserved. They fought hard for it and they won.
They deserved that game.
And then the people in Philadelphia lost their minds. Maybe they just had way too much kachaka.
Maybe. So they
don't blame it on kachaka. Let's blame it on something less exotic.
So they went from flipping over cars to vandalizing and tearing down awnings at hotels to breaking windows at storefronts.
I saw a whole video where they were like in a corner store and they were just like everybody tossing. They would just pick up stuff and throw it one way, pick up stuff and throw. Can you imagine
breaking down like the shelving unit? Like, why? Can somebody from Philly tell me why?
They were drunk. I want to know why. They were drunk as. You know, they didn't think it was going to happen. It's against Tom Brady. Come on now. You didn't think that was about to be reality?
I guess.
And so you got
Then they had a Kevin Hart moment. They had a Kevin Hart moment and was drunk and just was like, to hell, I'm going to do what I want to do. Oh, okay, well, doing what you want to do definitely comes with its own set of repercussions.
Well, I think there was a lot of I think the backlash obviously did it. And when people act up, there are protocols that you go to. So I think the backlash happened because there was an article printed where the leader of Black Lives Matters was like, hey, when people are protesting and being crazy over the loss of lives and over
maybe not even being crazy, being civil and civil.
No, but when they're talking about when they first started protesting.
Okay.
You remember it was like a state of war.
Yeah.
And so he's like, people were protesting, but they had like a passionate cause. It was over loss of lives. It was over the most basic dignity that we have, which is the right to live, right? Which is you should be passionate about your right to continue your life and continue breathing and not be shot when you are innocent.
Right.
Versus people who were celebratory, just drunk and having a good time and like, oh, you know what's fun? Right. And then, you know, you talk about that mob mentality where people are like, oh, yeah that's fun. Normal people who would not normally be like tearing down buildings and stuff. But so the comparison was in the response. And when you talk about Black Lives Matters, or you talk about the response against some of the murders that happened from the police against innocents or pseudo innocents, black men in particular, black women as well. But it was like, oh, call the National Guard and they're throwing tear gas and stuff. And the city of Philadelphia was just very dismissive of like,
So I don't know if you saw the video, but we'll definitely be posting it on our Instagram and our Facebook pages. But in the midst of all that chaos, there was only 4 arrests that night. 4 arrests. And police have stated, well, that happened where we weren't located. That's not exactly true because there was also a printout of the 911 dispatcher conversations between police officers and saying, hey, I'm here at this location. They just tore this down. Hey, I'm at this location. Someone just had this accident. So they may not have been everywhere. I definitely agree with that. There were about 70,000 to 100,000 people that night. So yes, the police were definitely outnumbered. But to say that you only made 4 arrests to me is just like, really? I think they're only coming out now to say that they'll make more arrests because of the just people saying like, how'd you let this happen? And there were no arrests. There was nothing that really the police did.
Well, I mean, can you imagine if you're a victim of this vandalism? Because owning your own business is hard. There are a lot of businesses that have very low margins, like convenience stores, or, you know, where if somebody destroys or throws packages and stuff, it may not be high enough to qualify for a, you know,
insurance claim,
to file an insurance claim, but it certainly could be high enough where it's deeply impacts you and how you run your business. And we saw that in Houston where, you think the flood, for people on TV, the flood was like a week but for weeks and weeks and weeks, it impacted your business because now you're doing repairs and you might have to close for this and you have to get permits and you have to, get new stock, but you didn't sell the old stock. So who pays this money? It can cause millions of dollars of damages. And then I would just be distrustful of everybody. Like, normal people who come in your store might come back in. You'd be like, well, you wasn't the one storing chips.
So they say they're going to, because there was a lot of video footage, whether it was from surveillance cameras by the city, by convenience stores, or people recording and posting on social media. They say they're going to use that to track down who these vandalizers, is that the correct term? People vandalizers, who they were, to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. So we'll see if they do. I'm not really holding my breath.
I don't know if they, because that's going to take just like a lot of time. But I just think it's just, you have to be mindful. And this is what, when you talk about racial inequality, it's a very difficult subject to breach. But when you think about it, it's like, why would this be so outrageous? Black Lives Matter protests. Or a subsequent, because they did vandalize, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're protesting, but look, they're vandals, and they're doing this and they're doing that, as opposed to this other situation. It's not the same circumstance, but the same result.
Yeah, exactly.
And the how they depicting these people is, they're just like revelers and whatever. But
initially, they didn't even say they were rebels. Initially,
revelers. I'm just saying they were like out having a good time, celebrating.
Right.
And then they were just like, it's fun? You know what's fun? I think it's like a lot of testosterone. You know what's fun? I know it's fun. This pole.
Bring it down.
I always want to tear a pole down.
Flip it over. Awning, tear it down. Macy's or whatever, let's just crack the whole front glass. But even the media initially kind of portrayed that incident around Philly and the fans as, celebrators, whereas when it was people who were frustrated with the life of someone being innocently slain, were these egregious and crazy protesters and rioters and this and the third. So, like how you said, it's the same outcome, but we just put completely different labels over them. Yeah. Even though I think that like you say, they're both on the same playing field. I think if the outcome is the same, then you should get the same repercussions.
Well, when you boil down words, I think that's where people have like ways they choose one word or another.
Exactly.
But if a riot has one definition, it's easy to say, it's easy to see that these things have the same definition. Mm-hmm. But people classify and use certain words, some scenarios, and other words in different scenarios, and it paints a whole different picture. Yes. So it's just a good learning point to say, why would if I previously condemned people for rioting over Black Lives Matter, what was the difference in my mind? And I think that's how you kind of boil down and begin to talk about racial inequality and how race matters, because you say, I did think about it before, but why did I think these were so different?
Right. And why did I think they were different? Why did I classify them as different? Why did my brain automatically see that this was okay and that this was not?
Yeah.
Those are definitely, I think, very valid talking points. Very great things people should self-reflect on. Regardless of Black, white, Hispanic, whatever.
I just think it's just an important point to say, okay, man, maybe I can understand somebody's perspective better. And that just comes from an urge to learn and understand people. And I think it's something, it makes the world better.
Right.
Say, I didn't see it that way before, but now that you mention it, or now that I reevaluated, I see it a little different.
Right.
And maybe, put it with your glass of chaka. So again, our drink of the week is a Caipirinha, very Brazilian, a national drink of Brazil. So if you go to Rio, chances are you're going to taste it, but why not start with your own? Give it the twist and the flavor you want. Add the fruits that you love. Maybe tropical fruits, but maybe not.
I have a question for you, Corey. Yes. Is this a drink that you would recommend somebody order out, or No.
I order all the time, but not everybody has cachaca, right?
Okay.
So that's like the only holdup, but I know that True Lux does sell cachaca, and they do sell caipirinhas.
Okay.
And if you have a True Lux in your city, you can try it there. If you don't want to make it home, you just want to see what it tastes like. But I promise, it's one of the best bangs for your buck, because like outside of like a martini, it's pretty much just cachaca.
Awesome.
So like a martini, but a Brazilian martini. Just think of it as the Brazilian martini.
See my little samba in the chair? I'm trying to get there.
Samba's about that footwork though, girl. I need to put this camera down and see what you're doing with those feet. That's gonna tell me if you're doing a samba.
Well, I will practice. In the meantime, I hope that you guys follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, Google Play Music. Reach out to us. We want to hear from you. If there's a topic going on that you would like for us to discuss, please drop us a message and let us know.
Yes.
Or if there's a cocktail or a libation liqueur that you would like us to try, let us know.
Yeah, because this one is my choice, but the last two
have been from our followers.
Yes. Have been a Hennessy sidecar and a French 75. Came from people saying, I want to see how this is made, or I want to do a little variation of it. So we listen.
Yes. So as always, guys, cheers until next time.
Salud.